Hello. Okay. Okay. Can you guys hear me? I'm also on YouTube. Let me close some stuff. Let me see if I can find a link. And I can send a link. Okay. Can you guys hear me? I'm also on. There we go. I'm going to put it on YouTube. There. It's on YouTube too. There. Okay. This is a notebook. See, it says Blighter. See if you can see that. See? September 2020. Wow, that was a long time ago. Here's that illustration. Here's a couple of that's playing with some designs. And I got these books on Amazon. They're like 14 pages, decent paper. It's like at least 100 pounds, maybe more, maybe 120. And I have like 10 of them. I sketch like for each project I do, I sketch stuff in them. And that way I know where to find the stuff. Even though I do have some, look, here's a picture of a monster. See, that's that's the monster from the pages you saw here, the cover thumbs. There's the one we went with. Here's another one. This one's kind of a mess. It's just a mess. So in notes, but yeah. Okay. I found this old pencil. Figured why not? Let's use this thing. I don't even know what kind of lead's in it. It's soft lead. Okay. If you go on YouTube, I think you can post comments. I don't think you can on Twitter. So, okay. I like drawing monsters. We'll start with I don't know. I always like we'll start with some weird shapes. I don't know why I like the the alternating shapes, like large to small. Here, this one, I know it's hard to tell what it is right now. Let's get some more light. Does that help? I don't know if that's gonna help, but so we got this. Let's bring him down. So he's planting with this arm. The cool thing about monsters is you can kind of just play around with like, I'm going to give him some spikes up here. I don't even know if he's going to have a head. He may just have like a big mouth. How about that? Let's give him a big mouth. This is really weird to do because I don't know if anybody. So I'm sorry. I'm all clicking and stuff. Let's give him like some kind of claw hand. let's bend this arm. I don't like it straight, so let's bring this. His leg is kind of back like that. There's his kneecap. Let's give him like weird paw, like claw. Let's get, yeah. So this is I don't, I say Blighter Monster. Um, Probably not. It's just a monster. If Jeff sees this and it's like, I like that and we'll use that, then that's cool. But it's really just a reason to get online and draw a monster. Um, so little spikes here. I like spikes. Here, let's give him like this little gullet thing here. Have it travel down here. Okay. Let's give him a tongue, but that little eye here, little eye here. Okay. This is kind of a base. I don't usually use a regular pencil. I usually use like one of these things right here. Um, yeah, I say that, and now I can't find one. Um, but like these red pencils, like this, like that, these little coal erase pencils, I like those. Um, I figured this may be easier to see, which when I'm looking, it's still not that easy to see. Um, let's give him some useless wings, like wings that definitely won't do anything, but let's call them an intimidation uh, thing. You see wings, and you're like, oh, that's intimidating, right? Okay. Now, I got kind of a base. I'm gonna put little holes in his shoulder. Why? Cause I can. I always say like you have to kind of know anatomy before you can exaggerate it. So um, you try and make things that make sense anatomically, and then you kind of exaggerate from there. I mean, you could just go totally crazy, but and use different weights and shapes, stuff that's like unbelievable, and that works too. Um, it's just not the way because I once I lose the suspension of disbelief, like I'm like, oh, his legs could not hold that giant torso up. Uh, I start like losing faith in the drawing or the creature. Um, you know what? This will be cool. Oh, oh, look at that! Got caught in the drawer. I know, impromptu, man. Like you got to give me a break here. I gotta find my one of my old architecture tools I've had since I was, God, in middle school, I think. Uh, Middle school, yes, middle school. I still have a ruler I had in high school. If you believe that, I still use it. Um, High school. I know you guys know these. So take one of these and just give it a once over. I know it makes such a mess, and that gets rid of some of those darker lines. Um, so see that? I love Kirby monsters. Um, this sort of feels like one to me. God, I'm like a poor man's Bob Ross. I don't have any like happy little tree anecdotes or anything. Um, I'm not gonna tell any stories because I can't like implicate myself in bad things. Um, I know when John Beatty and I were doing this StreamYard thing like all the time, we tell these stories and BS all the time, and um, I think my wife is watching Instagram reels. They're really loud. I say that because it's really random what music's coming. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but I can hear it. So yeah, so there's a start, right? He's got this big mouth. He's got this forked tongue. It's kind of thick. I don't know why I like open joints. You know, I had this idea, which I probably shouldn't tell you because I've never seen anybody do it. So you know what? I'm gonna keep it to myself for this cool monster. But um, it's like a race of monsters. Uh, I don't know why I always do these plates. I like the idea of like them being kind of like segmented, like bugs. People are so afraid of bugs, you know. Um, I have sort of a phobia of bugs. I've been bitten by a lot of spiders. Actually, I just got bitten by a spider on Saturday. Bit me right in the forehead, like right on the side of my forehead. Um, Pussed up. It was gross. I know oversharing, but now it's still there. It's like a sore now. I'm just hoping it gets smaller and I don't have to go to the doctor. But I've been bitten by a recluse before, years and years ago, and that was horrific. It hurt so bad. They had to like drain it and put cotton inside of the wound. I had to go back and they had to check it. It was ridiculous. It was disgusting. Hurt really bad, but luckily it healed okay. So yeah, swelled up to about the size of a baseball, maybe. It's pretty big. Um, isn't that thing ridiculous? Let's bring this. He's got these little like spouts here. I don't know if maybe they'll do something. Monsters are really easy, right? At least I think they are. I haven't drawn with a pencil like this in so long. It's usually at cons, you know. Um, I don't. I haven't done a con in over 2 years. Uh, Pandemic and all. Um, I've been invited to a few, but I'm immune compromised. Um, so I'm gonna wait a little bit. Uh, Once my family and I feel safe enough, I'm definitely I say that, and I'm definitely going to Heroes Con next year if it happens, which I think it will, because MiniCon is happening, and they invited me to that, but um, we had plans, so uh, I'll tighten this up some more. I may ink it. It's got these. Yeah, like I said, I don't use a pencil too much. I usually do the pencils digitally, just so it's just faster. You can like manipulate things. If you draw an arm too large, you can shrink it down, and you draw something kind of askew to the right, you can adjust it instantly. Um, Give him a little crotch hair. Everybody likes crotch hair, right? That's an odd thing to say. God, it's weird being on here alone. I don't know. Anybody hits me up, I guess I might let you on the stream. I can send you a link just so I have somebody to talk to. Um, so yeah, see, let me give him his funky wing. Like these useless wings, it definitely couldn't carry his body. Um, you know, it's fantastical, right? I don't know. Did I say that right? Uh, but yeah, pretty simple. Uh, Easy monster here. It's really soft lead, man. I usually use uh, 2H or like I said, these little red coal erase, and they're not that soft. You think they would be, but they're not. I think they're closer to H. Like anybody cares, right? Okay. So yeah, that's probably good enough to ink. You want to ink it? You can ink it. No, I'll ink it. It's fine. Right. Let me go get some pens, brushes, and such. I wish I could play some music, but then I probably get some kind of weird copyright thing and they shut me down. Would they do that? You think they do that? I don't know. So this is what I usually use when I'm inking commissions. Is this, sometimes this, 3, 5, 8. Sand eraser, regular eraser, blue one of those, and sometimes a 1. You know what? I pull all those out, right? But to be honest, I'll probably just use this one. I just replaced the brush. Wow. So, yeah. Inking away. This takes much longer than drawing. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't. Let's see. Jeff, I should send you a link, right? If I can, let me see. I'm going to invite you. I want to do that. Are you ready for that, Jeff? You know you are. I'm gonna send it to your email. I'm gonna tell everybody what your email is, so they can also email you, and then you can hate me. No, oh, that would be funny, right? No, it's not funny. I'm gonna send it via your email. I guess I could send it to your Twitter, but um, just so there, if you have your camera, you can send it via Messenger too. I think. I know you guys are just totally excited about this. Um, I send it to your email. How about that? All right, back to drawing. So this won't be like too detailed. We're just gonna get this bad boy down. Waste a good 45 minutes to an hour of your time. How about that? Oh, there you are. Hey, Jeff. Can you hear me, Jeff? I don't know if he's ready. Here, I'll remove him and I put him back. Should we do? Let's do this until his camera comes on. How about that? Or if it doesn't, it's whatever. He can just talk whenever. One sec. I gotta put headphones on. Sorry, Jeff, I can't hear you right now. Just give me one sec, and then I'll be able to hear you. Just 1 second, bud.
Am I? Hello? Hello? Drew? Drew Moss? Hello? Damn it.
I can hear you.
Can you?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I couldn't hear you because I had it muted so people couldn't hear my dumb voice.
Oh, okay.
Like echoing.
Good. I'm like,
They're gonna
can you hear me, Clam Fandango? This looks great, by the way. I love it.
Oh, thank you. Just
Good.
kind of
I'll write that guy straight into the story. If you want him there, if you want this monster in, just say it. We're doing
well,
it.
I figured, if you liked it, we could do it. You can make up whatever you want for these extremities and these little things here and there. Like I said, his wings are pretty useless.
Yeah, that's what's kind of cool about him, though. It's like it's like a I don't know. A lot of animals have little things they can't do anything with, and it's great.
Yeah,
it just looks cool.
I had
maybe they flap anyway, like when he gets mad.
Yeah, and intimidation, right?
Yeah, just like real fast.
I had a friend. He's an art student at the Academy in San Francisco, and he was like, we were discussing like all these technical art things, and he goes, "Man, you know what? We've been talking for way too long about this. Sometimes you just gotta draw cool shit, and it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to be so technical all the time."
Oh no! Like I keep telling people, like when at the studio when we have interns, I often bring up the words of the wise Chris Burnham, that he was just working on something and posting it on Twitter one day, and it stuck with me because he was spending too much time working out perspective of the background and things.
Yeah.
And then he decided to do something that was just cool to look at, and it was great. He goes, I forget this is supposed to be freaking sweet, and then like that's actually a pretty good uh in the entertainment industry thing to live by. Like, don't forget this is supposed to be cool as hell.
Yeah.
For people joining us now, I hope you are checking out our Kickstarter. If you look up Blighter and my name, Jeff Parker, we're in the last night, and we've got some art tiers left. I don't think we have any more being Blighters, so now Drew's got to draw 10 people.
Nice.
You were going to draw people anyway. They're just now going to look like
Other
real
people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I'm gonna put the link in the people who are watching it on YouTube and StreamYard. I'm gonna put the link in the chat. I know I can't do anything on Twitter.
I'm
there.
trying to figure out how to plug this on Twitter, and I'm like, well, you can watch it on Twitter.
Yeah, you can watch it, but it's like the comments and stuff. They don't.
Yeah, the comments are the fun part.
That's what I think too.
We often do like with Gabe Hardman and John Suntries have done the Outer Limits and their new show Kinescope, and people will pop in asking things while we're talking about the shows, and it's really, really great. StreamYard's pretty much the best of these things that I've seen.
I think so too. It's very stable,
Yeah, I've not had that much trouble with it.
And I think Instagram needs to learn something about that.
Instagram needs to learn a lot of stuff. I can't stand the interface there.
Yeah, it's rough. I mean, I can't complain, but so much because that's where most of my following is too. I don't know how that happened, but it just did.
You got a great following there. It's like 60,000 people.
They're really nice to me. There's a few people who troll me sometimes, which it's unfortunate, but it is what it is.
Send them to me, the mean old guy. I'll deal with them. I'll fix them.
Go to Jeff Science Patrol on Instagram.
Yeah, I'm Science Patrol. They'll think, oh God, he looks like Hayata from Ultraman.
God, I love that show.
I know. As a kid, it was just a huge favorite of mine.
My wife just bought me the first 3 volumes on DVD, but I watch them digitally because it came with the code. But it just brought me back to my childhood.
Oh man, got one more fan. I keep in quotes fan art piece from yet another professional, and Paul Guinan just did this Blighter. It's a really cool piece.
Oh, nice. Everybody who's been doing them, it's just it's so intimidating because you're like, man, they kind of did some things that I like. Oh, they're so good.
You know what I finally learned though from stuff like that? I just like, well, thank you. I'm going to use that part I liked.
Yeah.
And it's like, because they're not going to have to draw it again, so you might as well just take something.
Such good renditions though. I don't know, man. I've been blown away by all that art.
I'm trying to find the main StreamYard. Like, is the link that I'm on the same one everybody else watches? No, it can't be.
I don't know. I think
no.
So.
This isn't the YouTube one.
Let me look on the YouTube. Oh, I am on the YouTube one. Ha! Yeah. Let me see. Oh, they did it. I was wondering why.
This is just your YouTube channel?
It's on the YouTube and on Twitter right now. But of course, they can only comment on the YouTube one, or I guess if they come to stream. Oh, there's one in private chat.
Can you send me private chat the link so I can share it with people?
Sure.
Because it seems like that time of night, at least on the West Coast, where people start or in the East Coast when they can't get to sleep, so they start looking online again. Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Wait, that's the same one I'm on. You just let me in. But that's will that work on YouTube? Is there a YouTube link?
Yeah, I can get that too.
I think that's the one I need, or we're gonna have people in the show with us.
Oh yeah, that's true.
It's like everybody
That would
can't
be
be in the show.
interesting,
Oh, here we
wouldn't
go. Thanks. Thanks,
it?
man. Um,
Yeah, it's I meant
yeah,
to do this.
you still got some time to ink this, so like we can get some people and
Yeah, definitely. Um, it's I meant to do this earlier, but I've been doing. Just been so busy. Uh, and I'm trying to get everything kind of wrapped up, or at least close to, by the time like next week when this is in full swing again. Like getting
yeah.
so.
And
Um,
you got to get those Nate phone calls. Well, you're used to that.
yeah, I am. I worked with him for a couple of years. He's awesome. Best editor
Nate,
I've ever had, I think.
oh, no, I
What?
mean, Nate and I have worked together a long time, and he is not afraid to get on the phone and hustle some pages out of people. It's hilarious, but it works because he always got uh, scripts first out of everything I had to do. It's like it's the one who's calling who gets it. That's just the
No,
way it goes.
is that the
No
squeaky
one else
wheel
likes to use
theory?
the phone anymore.
Yeah, I know. Did that is true. When he
Like you're,
calls, I'm like, is this Nate? Like,
yeah,
who's calling me right now? Um, is it 1994? Like, what's going on?
exactly. He didn't text first
No.
before he would call. Is this okay? Is this allowed?
Yeah, I know. But we used to have when I was a young man, and my roommate and I had this strict rule. If you came over, you had to call before you could come over. Like you can't just show up to the house. And I'd have friends that just showed up, and they would bang on the door, and even go to the window and bang on the window, and they'd see us sitting there, and my roommate would always yell out, "You have to call first," and they would leave and go to 7-Eleven, call us, come back. That was awesome.
Where was that?
What do you mean?
Where were you living at the time?
In Newport News, Virginia.
Oh, okay. Down near the
Uh,
coast.
yes, and I'm still there. Um, Not Newport News,
Yeah, I didn't
but
think you
still
were.
on southeastern Virginia.
So how quickly can you get to the beach?
Oh, 5 minutes maybe. I'm right
Nice.
next to the water. Uh, well, I'm really close to the water, but the beach, yeah, about 5 minutes, 10 minutes
Oh
maybe.
man,
No,
I
it's
gotta
not
come
that
visit.
great. Oh yeah.
It is that great because I
Um.
miss. You don't realize that like over here on the West Coast, we don't have the Gulf Stream, and
Oh.
I miss that. For I'm from North Carolina,
Oh
and
yeah.
I was used to still being able to go to the beach in October and swim.
Yeah, it's
I
still kind of warm
I
here.
can't even do that in the summer here. All our water comes from Alaska.
Oh, it's totally freezing.
It
Um.
is. My son can stand it because he's a native Oregonian, but no, I'm still kind of an East Coaster when it comes to that. Like, nah, the first time I ever went out to West, I first went to Los Angeles and I went to San Diego and I went running into the ocean like, haha, the beach. And I thought it was like what we grew up with.
Yeah, warm water.
And
Yeah.
I screamed. It was, it was such a high pitched scream.
Did you like what is wrong with the water?
Yeah, I was just, I like everything was wrong. It's like the water should not have been this cold. And that's
Yeah,
down in
there's
San Diego where you think it would be warm, but it's not.
oh, that's crazy. I wouldn't. Yeah, I would think it would be warm. I
Well,
know
if you
here.
notice, they're all wearing wetsuits when you watch TV shows.
Oh yeah. See, it's yeah, it's definitely warm water here. Like where I live right next to the water.
Oh
So
yeah,
with the
you
breeze,
guys were getting sharks not long ago.
yeah, some kid in Virginia Beach got there was a shark attack. Unfortunately, he didn't survive.
Oh God.
He was on it was on Shark Week, and that's where I heard of it, and I was like, man, that's crazy. I don't remember hearing about it locally, and then I saw it on Shark Week and looked it up. I was like, oh yeah, that was here. It's horrible. It's like one of those moments when you as a parent you start like you go to the beach and you're like, well, I don't know. Uh,
Yeah,
but yeah, the wind here is the thing that gets me. Like when we're close to the water, it's never one direction. It
right.
like comes from all directions all the time. So uh,
It just sandblast you.
yeah, everywhere. It's not like it just kind of swirls around, which is nice, but it's not nice in the winter. Tell you that much.
Yeah.
Uh,
Now, do people do like the parasailing and stuff around there?
yeah, my wife loves to kayak.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
nice. Now I know
lots of
you got a
places to
kayak.
launch. See, I live on a peninsula, so we're surrounded by water. Um,
Oh man,
I'm-
we should have see if we had really gotten this campaign going. You could have got a boat. That would have been the thing right here. Like if we could say we did it, we got Drew a boat.
Blighter boat,
Yeah, and that's it. And you have to name it Blighter.
a USS Blighter.
Yeah, and
That'd be awesome. I could
like,
throw a bottle of some alcohol at it. Uh,
yeah, be like cool, like a little beat up cabin cruiser. That's what I always want. Like I've had a little runabout, like that was older than me that I bought a few years ago, and I finally got rid of it. But like up here, we've got two big rivers, the Willamette and the Columbia, and I'd take my family out and we go riding around, and there's islands in the river, and you could go out there and hang out on them, and it was a lot of fun.
that's
And
yeah, that's exploring and stuff would be great.
yeah, oh, yeah, especially where you are with all those inlets and the sound and all
Yeah,
that.
there's a lot. Yeah, in the bay there. We're right on the Chesapeake Bay, so
Oh
uh,
God, yeah,
there my wife
yeah. Whenever I'm
likes
flying
to
into
whale watch.
DC, I always look down and I see all these boats, and I think, look at all these people in boats.
Yeah, I'm jealous till they have to winterize them and store them.
They're
Uh,
right. As everybody says, it's better to have a friend with a boat.
yes, except when he asks you for gas money. Uh,
Yeah,
uh, I used to hate that. Hey man, it's $100 each to go out. I'm like, what?
yeah, because you have to get non-ethanol gas.
Yeah, and it's like
We're really thrilling the kids with this one. Hey, you're gonna love this our book about this tiger who fights monsters. But first, let me tell you how you got to get non-ethanol gas if you got a boat.
and
Go over
water
to
on the West
Kickstarter.
Coast
We
is
still got
cold.
some tears.
Hey, you're learning something, right? It's like the Discovery Channel.
Yeah,
Well, no, they only play videos about cars and fixing things and stuff,
I
right?
know. It used to be about science, and then suddenly it turned into, and now it's here how to put flames on hot rods. Here's how to here's how to wrap a car
Oh,
in vinyl. Like I don't care about this. I wanted to see something about time travel, and now I'm having to look at somebody wrap a Tesla.
and even the History Channel is starting to go.
They're all there. They've been terrible for a long.
Uh,
Both those channels just it's like it's weird that they have those names still because they have nothing like what does going in a pawn shop and arguing about things have to do with history or discovery?
I watched the videos where they criticize it, um, where they're like, that's not that much, and blah blah blah, or this guy's not a real professional. I'm like, why am I watching this? I'm watching the video to discredit the thing I don't watch anyway.
Yeah,
Um,
because we're creators and we buy things secondhand.
I do. I buy a lot of things
I
second.
buy, I buy literally everything secondhand. Like
Uh,
I have a lot of cool stuff and I didn't pay much for it because I'm willing to go out and see weirdos on Craigslist.
oh well, see, I won't do that. Like I don't know why. It just freaks me out, man.
Well, it's probably just as well. It can get sketchy.
I believe
I
it.
don't know. You can kind of tell after a while, though. You can kind of tell from people's posts like who's going to be legit and who's going to be some like trying to meet you in a field to knife you. Those are the least fair. I hate those. I don't like that when I get knifed.
that's always the worst. Getting knifed, or I always find that people if you hang out with people who have to carry a lot of knives, that also bugs me too, because I feel like it's over preparation. Uh,
Yeah,
it's like, why do you have these knives? Like, I don't
exactly.
understand what's going on. It's like you want it to happen.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
and to be honest, if I had a bunch of knives, I would never stab anybody. Um, I just,
Try to distract them, like, look how cool my knife is.
I'll trade you
Don't you let it? It's got a wood handle.
Damascus steel, man.
Jazz cabbage. I'm with you on that. I also will not buy secondhand underwear, but everything else, fair game. Um, but yeah, like tools and stuff like
Yeah,
that. That's what I get. Bikes, stuff, junk I'm into. Look at man, you're booking along on this thing. What are you inking with there, Drew?
this is a Kuretake brush pen
Oh
that I
yeah.
fill with. I hate their ink, but I use this Rotary ink.
Oh, it's
Uh,
okay.
yeah, and it's like it's made for fountain pens, so it doesn't gunk up the brush at all, and it's
Do you
pretty
add a little
dark.
alcohol to it or anything?
Oh no, that's a great idea. Uh, but
I've
no,
just known people who've done that, and they because some of them like not Rotring, but oh shoot, what's the other giant ink?
Kohinoor, not
Maybe well, Kohinoor is usually what are in technical pens.
um
But what's the one with the spider on it?
the one with the
Why can't I
spider.
think of the name of the inks? Because I don't draw ever, and I only do digital art when I do. Um, well, it'll come to me in a second. But anyway, like you know how the ink can like if you leave it open a lot.
Oh yeah, it'll get thick and shellacky.
Yes, or whatever. And then you find if you drop like a little, if you get say like 99% alcohol from the drugstore, something like $2 a bottle, you can just drop a little bit of that in, and that'll
Oh,
dilute it. I
I did
think,
not know that. That's
or
actually
some really real like a really good booze. But then that's like you're spending way too much money at that point.
yeah, I have some 126 and a half proof
Yeah, you're a whiskey
bourbon.
guy, right?
I you know, I have a lot of whiskey, but I don't only drink. I don't like drinking alone because I feel like I have a problem at that point.
Yeah,
So,
I understand.
and with this pandemic, there hasn't been a lot of people coming over. So,
Okay, I'll try to get to the East Coast again and help you with all this whiskey. I mean,
uh,
I'm willing to do it.
oh, and no shows. I usually bring it to shows
Uh huh.
and just share it. I actually won some Pappy Van Winkle um in a lottery, and this
Wait,
guy offered me
oh,
eight hundred.
what kind of lottery was this?
Well, in Virginia, they have ABC lotteries.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
and when you win one, it gives you the opportunity to buy the bottle at MSRP, which is only $60. And this guy offered me like $800 for it, and I was like, hell no, I've never had it, and when am I going to get that opportunity? I'm never going to win anything again. So I
He
just took it
offered
to,
you $800 for the
yeah,
bottle.
yeah, like like straight up. I posted it on Facebook, and I got a few messages, but one guy offered me $800 for it.
Wow.
I just took it to shows and drank it with people because I was like, hey, drink this. It's expensive, I guess. Uh, let's enjoy it together.
Could you tell? Could you tell it was good?
To be honest, yes, I tried some Blantons with it, which is a nice, decent bourbon. I mean, it's good. And Blanton's is hard to get as well. And I had Blanton's and I tried the Pappy with it, and it's a definite difference. It's smoother. It has a lot of flavor. I enjoyed it, but um, to be honest, the thing I drink mostly is the Sazerac Rye, which is only $30 a bottle. Uh,
Yeah.
I love that stuff. Uh, but I don't. I haven't really drank that much in a while. Like I said, um, I'm weird about drinking alone.
Well, you should be.
Yeah, and,
That way it goes all kinds of places.
yeah, I know. That's what I think too. It's like, man, um,
Yeah, I can't do it if no one's around. I'm like, well, I'm saying that, and I was just drinking a beer, but I'm kind of with you. at this point. So
Well, I feel like liquor is a. I mean,
yeah,
that's
liquor's more. It's a little more commitment, and
yeah, that's what I think so.
yeah, if you're not being social, then it's like you might have a problem.
Yeah, and I like gin and tonics too, because I'm like an old lady. Um, I just find them delicious,
Okay,
and they can be dangerous too. They taste so good. They taste like
right.
lime juice to me. Just like
It's like a wine cooler.
yeah,
Like you're
but
back in
then
school again, trying to like, oh man, I'm trying alcohol.
and then 4 drinks deep, you realize you've had 8 shots because you weren't paying attention, and yeah, then you're in trouble. I can't like this is a good Kickstarter video by the way.
Yeah, this is totally what people are wanting. Like, oh, cool, they're doing this thing about this Tiger Man with his steampunk weapons, who's killing monsters,
Yeah, I
and
think
then
they're
we just talk
alcoholic.
about booze and some raffle where you won some booze.
I did. It was wonderful. And my friend, he enters that those lotteries all the time to get that really hard to find liquor, and he wins all the time. I don't know how he does it, um, but he does. Uh, he has a very extensive collection. He reminds me of Mitch. Um, that
Garrett's.
guy. Yeah, he's got.
Oh, Mitch knows his stuff. Shaner and I talk about how we just ask him and he'll tell us what to get because he cares about it very much.
Yeah, his. I'd started drinking old fashions because of him.
I
Uh,
love old fashions. Oh
they're
man,
delicious.
when someone really knows how to make them, those bitters, oh, it's so good.
Yeah. I went to this place in Charlotte that made a really good one. And they put like what did they put like
Were you at Heroes Con?
actually this was at MiniCon, but
Okay, yeah.
I was still staying at the Hilton, which is right in downtown.
Uh-huh.
Um, and it was a cigar bar there. They had like applewood smoked bacon in it, and they like blew smoke into the glass, and it was delicious. Maybe I was caught up in the whole mystique of what they were doing, but
Uh-huh.
um, I just remember going, man, this is a great old fashioned. Um,
Oh yeah, when somebody, yeah, where was I? In Boston a few years ago. We went to the Boston show, and that was Steve Lieber and Joel Jones, and we just kept stopping in bars. But we were down there by the water, and it was all it's sort of your sports TV crowd
yeah,
instead of like a cool old school bar, which Boston has plenty of, but not in that section. And I
yeah, you're
kept, and
looking for a dive.
yeah, and I wanted an old fashioned, and I kept ordering it, and I kept getting, I got something different every time, and they were all terrible. And I was like, this sucks because I know I'm in a place where they can make them,
Yeah,
but I'm not in the right part of the city.
I
And
always love like kind of finding some place that you feel like you found a gem, you know?
yeah, you got to get a local every time. It's like, I'm really happy when my friends live somewhere already.
Oh yeah,
And then it's like they steer you away from the junk you would look up
touristy.
online. Yeah.
You know there's this place I found in DC, and I only found it once because I was working IT, and
Yeah.
we
Your
were
other
looking.
life.
Yeah, holy, that was year. Yeah, God, what a soul sucking experience. Uh, but I found this dive bar under uh, this high rise, and it had like it looked like in like straight out of like a gangster movie. It had like the wooden like covered walls with pictures of like celebrities in black and white, and I ordered Monte Cristo
Oh man,
sandwich, which
you like that health food, don't you?
oh yeah, deep fried ham sandwich.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, the looks I got, they were just like, "You're ordering food? Like, what are you doing? Like these menus are just for decoration." Um, it was the worst Monte Cristo I ever had, but the
I
drinks
can
there were great.
imagine.
The drinks were great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's
he's a
see
weird looking one.
if anyone is keeping multiple windows open to make sure not miss us talking about booze.
Oh, look. Jazz
Uh,
Cabbage asked, the monster's looking badass. Does he have a name?
he's about to. Hang on, Jazz. I'm just tweeting this thing. Right before you started this, Declan Shalby did a picture of Arvy and started inking it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and
They should be watching that. No.
well, he's done, so they can go look at the picture. I just put it up on my feed. It's just Twitter Jeff Parker, spelled right, not one of the funny Jeffs like with a G or a PH or anything stupid like that. I'd say it's
You're
StreamYard.
insulting other Jeffs.
Yeah, they're the worst. I'm the best Jeff. And so look at Declan Shalby's RV, and because everybody wants to draw the tiger, but RV's just as important.
I think she looks cool.
She looks cool. She's just not as big and loud, so she's always gonna kind of get shuffled.
Do you think
over there?
We can because Blighter. We talked about like Blighter wearing different things, and he's not going to be that singular wardrobe type.
Oh no, he's going to have a ton of cool stuff.
Like you think
I built up this giant reference file. I'm going to send you. You're going to love it.
You think RV could like change her helm, like her skull sometimes?
Yeah, the important thing is for people who wonder why is this kid running around with a skull on.
Yeah.
To tell a little bit of the story, and I believe I saved this in the video on the Kickstarter or somewhere in the updates. But she was orphaned as a 3-year-old. Her parents lived in South London and were attacked by a monster. That's what's the whole building. It's kind of like more east. It's more like if you ever saw the movie Attack of the Block from a few years ago. It's like one of those kind of high rises. And a monster has attacked it, and that's how little Arvy. Luckily, she wasn't killed, but she was kind of psychically marked, like the way wasps mark us with pheromones if we squash them. So other creatures can sense it, and kind of tend to go after her. And it irritates Blighter too, because he's also from that world. So it's like, he wants her to put the skull on half the time because it's like making him twitch. But he's not quite as serial killy as the other monsters, because he looks more like an animal. He's a tiger. That's just what they do. They can't help it. He loves to kill. But he's not as bad. That's his saving grace, is that he is not as bad as, say, these monsters like Drew is drawing right now. But yeah, she just kind of uses bones of other creatures that she's found to kind of hide her. It sort of blocks like a little what is it you call it when you put your phone in to stop all signal? A Faraday box.
Yeah, Faraday box.
Yeah, it's like that. It helps her not be caught. And since you've read the first act of the script, a thing Blighter does. Kind of take advantage of her vulnerability there and attract.
Which is, I didn't even see coming when it happened.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh.
Because he's a jerk. He's just a total a-hole.
Yeah.
But I love characters like that. Writing noble characters is great, and I've done it a lot. But it's so fun to have a character who's just, for every first impulse, is terrible. And if he does anything good at all, it's because of the little girl, kind of suckering him into it.
It's like, everything is one-sided with him. It's all about him.
Oh yeah.
I definitely can see the humor in that too. Like how that's gonna sway his decisions most of the time. Like I said, when he pulls off what he does, I go, oh, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the only way to get Blighter to really do something is you got to flatter him and just let him think it's his idea. This, by the way, is also a great tip for dealing with all of life, I've found. let everybody else think everything's their idea, and you'll just be able to get to do what you want to do.
I'll remember that, Jeff. It's
It's
a great idea, Drew.
That's brilliant. What you said, I don't know how many clients I've done
Yeah.
this to over the years, especially when I was working, doing more art. Like I was just doing, the idea you had, what you were saying, and they always like, oh, and then immediately they like it better. And
Yeah, it's like, oh,
just
well,
you're
we're
just
gonna do
showing them
whatever you
what you
say
wanted
now.
to do.
That's getting them on your side. Uh, as an IT person, I live by that. Like
Yeah.
I would fix things, and they'd be like, "Oh, I'm not good." I was like, "Yeah, neither am I." You know, it's
Uh-huh.
probably whatever you said it was. I didn't really do anything. I would just do that, and then people wouldn't hate me. Uh,
I guess that's what you're really going for. The baseline is don't hate me,
yeah, don't hate me.
and I'll fix this network, and then I'll just leave.
And people used to hide their screens because they were playing games and stuff, and I was like, "I'm not your boss. I really don't care."
Yeah, I'm not going to tell on you. I
Yeah.
imagine that was what I imagine they probably had Facebook open the whole day, and they probably just had games going,
No, it was, and the thing
and
is,
they're
we could see
gambling.
everything.
Yeah.
And people would like stream stuff all day long, and we had like this site where we would post the top 10 mode like data users, uh, and no one ever wanted to be number one, because that meant you weren't doing your job.
Yeah. That's a brilliant way to do it. Just
Uh,
simply put the numbers up there. Hey, look who's number one this week. He's been watching movies all day.
most of the time it's in, yeah, movies are streaming music, but it's been like 10 years since I did that stuff. Uh, I started doing it and realized that you have to like it to continue to do it, because like everybody who does well in it, they love it and they like keeping up with technology.
Uh-huh.
Uh, and I did not. I just didn't like keeping up with everything changes like every 3 months, and it was just so much.
I
So,
imagine you still keep up with it though.
oh, do you?
That's what I thought. I figured you can't kind of help but sort of
Well,
absorb it.
well, yeah, basic stuff like, but like when they start going in, like different server architecture and all that stuff, I'm like, oh, that's a whole nother can of worms. I'm not trying to deal with. um, I'm doing a little grayscale. I do this for almost. I have this. I don't know if you saw it. It's the Blighter um, book where I put all the sketches for Blighter into
Uh-huh.
one book. And as we do more and more, this thing will fill up. Uh, and it's kind of like a keepsake. I mean, I don't sell them. I just
Uh-huh.
keep them.
Oh,
Kind of
good.
reminds me of the experience.
Don't you already feel kind of bad about selling the cover? I do.
Um, to be honest, I forgot that I had done it traditionally, and then Jeff. I mean, not Jeff. That's you.
That's me.
Nate was talking to me about something, and I was like, "Oh, why don't we put this cover up?" And he's like, "You really want to do that?" And yeah. I mean, I don't know, just to help it out. Um, which we didn't really need help. I don't know, man. I just felt it would help a little.
And it went pretty fast, which always then makes me think, crap, we charged too little for it.
I always
Um,
think that.
Jokes on you. We're going to change the cover. Uh, but no, probably not. Maybe. Um, it's a great cover. And then immediately, I was looking at the black and white line art, going, "Oh man, that's really nice. We should have held on to that."
I
But
appreciate it.
in theory, we're going to be able to keep this train going, and then have more opportunities.
More covers, trade covers, right? Or
Well,
um,
you typically work digital, right?
when I do pages, yes. This is what I
Manga
do.
Studio. I mean, clip art,
I actually
Clip
use
Studio
Sketchbook
Paint. Sorry.
Pro.
Really?
Yeah, which is okay. It's like there are certain pages I know sell. Um, splash pages.
Oh, that's what I assumed. And I was going to say, I hope whenever we do a splash page, you jump out and do that one on paper
And
because,
I do.
yeah, good.
Um, I try to at least, unless there's a pending deadline.
That's
It's
what most
gonna,
artists I know now do. They because you can book go much faster digitally, but then when you get that splash page, it's like people are going to want this.
yeah,
So maybe rough it out digitally and then do the rest of it on bristle and bam, you've got a page.
yeah. And I got a giant box full of like talking head pages. Uh, no one wants to buy. I got so many because when I first started doing the comic stuff, it's like I
Were you
did
getting?
everything traditional.
Uh-huh.
So I have this giant box full of pages that I take to cons, and I'm like, pick it. The more you pick, the less it costs. Uh, if you pick like 100 pages, let's do that. $100, man. Just get it rid of it. Um, just because they're just pages that throughout the years just won't go anywhere.
Uh-huh.
Because like I said, who wants a page full of talking heads? Which happens sometimes.
It yeah, it does happen. Writers, you don't have to do that to your collaborator. Um, Artists, you don't have to do it to yourself if you're writing. Always I always try to think it like if there's going to be a talkie scene, I try to set it somewhere interesting
Yeah,
and have people. And the main thing is I don't want people just talking. I want them doing something while they're doing it. Like hey, have them fishing and hauling in a net or something that's cool and goes along with the story and forwards the story. You
yeah,
know,
it's relevant. It's like,
it's just way more interesting than a talking head.
yeah, I worked with a writer that was very talky. Um, he was like, I don't know. It's like every page had these monologues, and it felt like I was drawing all this background because I had to, all this space for these giant monologues that was just going to get covered up.
Right.
And I remember we had a meeting, and he was just like, uh, you know, I'm really wordy, but we all know that's not going to change. So, and I was
Well,
like, ouch.
way to meet us halfway, dude.
I was like, this,
That
this is, yeah, that's what I thought too.
we all know that's not going to change.
And I was just like, oh, okay. Uh,
No, you gotta. I tell everybody when, especially when they're starting out, like try to just write just the panel descriptions to tell the story first. Like
yeah,
if you have to advance the story through dialogue, it's not a visual story. It's like this isn't radio. We're much closer to movies. Not we're not that either. It's like comics is a almost purely visual medium, and you should be able to look at it like well, when you look at like a really good manga, you know what's happening, even though you can't read it.
yeah.
Well, assuming you can't read Japanese,
I
but
took
it's
Japanese
like
in college, but I can't read Japanese.
yeah, and but if you follow along, then they did a good job
Yeah,
telling the story. Um,
exactly.
and then then when you have to use some dialogue, you can really save it for some good stuff. I just don't think dialogue should advance the story that much, except once in a while. Like, it should be action. And I don't mean action as in people are firing guns, blah, blah, blah. I mean, just as in characters doing things.
Yes. Um, and or just something visually interesting to kind of move the page along. Like so the artist can use visual cues to kind of that's what we're supposed to do. Move you across the page to the end. Um,
Mm-hmm.
when I worked with Jay, I always say his last name wrong. Faber.
Yeah.
We Farber. We did Copperhead together. He
Yeah.
did it all in that old school Marvel style. Like it was so freeing. It was wonderful.
Well, Jay's
Uh,
great. Jay's a real, he's the real deal. He's good.
he's amazing, and like he would write these scripts, and he's pretty much like just there you go, bud. Like between pages 1 through 5, this is happening. Pages 6 through 10, that's happening, and just make it tell the story. It was a wonderful experience. I'll never forget it. It was just I don't know. I'd never worked like that, and I worked on that book for a couple years too. Um, it was it was wonderful. It was a great experience. I still think of it fondly.
Good. You should. He's also a very good TV writer. Yeah, no, I'm a big fan of his.
And he's also a very awesome individual.
Oh yeah,
Um,
I love reading his Twitter. He often it's always him and his kid in some various
yeah,
superhero outfit doing something.
he's it's like it's rare. Not well, it is. It is rare to meet um people like that. It's in general like who are genuine and nice. Um, like who kind of also care about your self interest, your interests as well. Uh,
Yeah,
like I mean, in my experience, which is limited in a sense, sometimes things don't work out like you thought they would, and you kind of go separate ways with some people, and it's fine. Um, but I rather have those experiences like I had with Jay. It was just like something I can think fondly about.
yeah. I've been lucky. I've worked with a lot of good people, and uh, even the bad ones at least were good. So, but you can't win them all.
Yeah,
And if you're lucky, your editor kind of runs interference and heads you off before a bad team gets together and gets people who are more synced up on things.
yeah.
See, at
I've
this
had a
point, Nate Cosby's probably hoping we'll mention him, but I'm not going to. Because I'm like literally trying to get him to put the Declan Shalvey piece that he just did of Harvey up on the Kickstarter. It's like, hey, we're running out of time. Declan just finished this cool print ready piece that we probably should just put in the book because it looks great.
nice.
I wonder,
I've been
can I share a piece of art there? Wait, I'm not even sure where I've now drifted away from. Hold on, I'm going to try to see if StreamYard will let me do this. I don't think
Oh,
I've
I
been able.
saw it. Nice. That's amazing. I'm retweeting it now.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah,
That's
doesn't it look
amazing.
great?
It is. He nailed it.
Yeah,
High fives all around. Uh,
yeah. Declan's the hardest working artist in Dublin.
I'm going to take your word for that, and I believe it.
Nah, he is.
There.
I've been there. I saw everybody. He's the hardest working.
He's like, I saw everybody.
Never goes outside, Declan.
I know
Um,
that feeling.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. You live
yeah,
5 minutes from the beach and you never see it.
I never see it.
Sad.
Um,
You can smell it, but
I
you can't
can
see
definitely smell it.
it.
We definitely. I every time I come home when we travel, you know how it is. Uh, when I come home, though, it's that smell of the ocean. I
Oh,
do.
I love it.
It's wonderful.
Man, this piece looks really good, Drew.
Oh, it's just a sketch. He doesn't look that like intimidating. I feel I don't know
Well, it
why.
depends though, because you don't have anybody in there for scale.
That's true. He could be
He could be
huge.
tiny. He could be big as car.
Yeah,
Uh,
this is
I choose big as a car because that would be cool.
that would be cool.
Hey, what are these thumbnails of?
These are the cover thumbnails.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I try and keep everything, and that's
Oh, you like drawing in red.
I do like drawing in red.
I used to draw in blue pencil all the time. There's the one I want. Don't you sell that piece?
This
I
one,
love. Yeah, that was that. No, the blighter back there was where he's got the little pistol.
yeah.
That
Well,
was
no,
the.
that's all in this book, man.
Okay,
Uh,
good.
and it's just gonna
Yeah,
stay there.
That's where you first nailed him. And that's where I went. There he is.
Yeah, there's all the other sketches. I don't know where those are.
Well, they got to be in that room somewhere.
They are in this room somewhere, but that's and what happened was is I usually start these books, and I don't know what happened, but I just started drawing. Oh no, that's what it was. They're those are the digital ones. The, the first drawings were digital,
Right.
and then I went to pencil because I couldn't get it the way I wanted it, um, and that's when I did this one.
Yeah.
Um, and
That,
then
it feels amazing when you make that breakthrough, doesn't it?
oh, it does. It's like a relief, right? Like you're just like, oh, like that nagging feeling of that's just not right. That's
Yeah.
just not right. Um, yeah, it's wonderful. Yeah, he looks cool.
No, he looks cool. He looks like he's willing to throw a hurting on somebody.
Yeah, he's probably one of those G Jeffs.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
the thing is, and don't take offense, G Jeff. You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But I'm just kidding. I like G Jeffs. It's the Jeff Parker that doesn't like G Jeffs.
Well, I just want people to spell their Jeff right. I just not a big thing to ask.
That's funny. There. I
Ooh,
don't know why he has crotch hair. I guess he
I
just.
love when people tell me they just did a pledge. It feels almost as good as watching the little numbers go flipping.
No.
There, there. I just clipped over. I wonder if we can get to 32,000 a night. Whoa! As I said that, we went to the 8. So 31,807 and
Yeah,
828 backers. Not bad.
that's not bad.
It could be
I
a
just
thousand, but
I look
I like
forward
it.
to this. Just telling this story. I
Oh
don't
yeah.
know. Like I said, it even says we started this in September of 2020.
Oh,
Um,
did we? Oh,
yeah,
that's right. And then
I,
then
I,
and then you did a bunch of dynamite work, and I did whatever I was doing, and yeah,
yeah,
and then I forgot why, but Nate was doing other stuff. Well, Nate had stuff going on, and then and then he said, "All right, we need to get back on it." And like, okay, fine. Uh, let me try to remember where we were at. That's the way it often goes.
yeah. Like I'm doing this trading card work, uh,
Hmm.
and it's kind of like it comes and it goes. Like as in, and it's so like immediate. It's like, oh, here's five to do.
Oh yeah, they
Uh,
drop them on you on a Friday.
yeah, or yeah, there's no warning at all. But it's like a bread and butter gig, as in, um, it pays uh, the bills.
Oh
So,
no, yeah,
um, and not that comics don't pay the bills because they do as well. But you know how it is being freelance. Everything pays the bills.
no,
Uh,
it's I've always wanted, and I'm still at this stage of like, it would be nice to have one thing where I could just stay on one track for a while.
oh
But
yeah, that would be amazing.
it would be amazing, but I don't. I am always having to shift gears and jump on some other thing at the drop of a hat. And eventually your brain finally adjusts to it. But it's
Yes.
so I do envy those people who work on their one thing and they don't have to like switch it up. But for me it's a little easier because I can, well, sometimes it's not. Sometimes I wake up and I can only think of whatever it was I was planning to write, but and no matter how I try to shift over, I keep coming up with the other story.
Yeah.
So I
It's
just write it. I just try to write it down and get it out of the way really fast so I can get back to whatever the deadline is.
and that's that juggling act. It's
Yeah,
really
just
hard to explain to people who don't have to do that.
no, it's monthly deadlines, and we've always got to be done like 3 months ideally ahead of the print time,
Yeah,
and
and
it's often a lot
ideally,
closer than that. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. I will say that sometimes it's very uncomfortable. Uh,
no, it can get pretty hot.
yeah, and then you get that random gig that's just like I need it yesterday. um, and those suck. But I don't know.
You got to watch it. If we're going to dispense advice, we probably should. Um, Wait a second. Just letting Declan go to sleep.
Oh, that's right. It's what 5 6 hours ahead of us. Wow, he's up late.
7 there, I think. Um, well, he's an artist, so he's used to
Yeah,
staying
I'm
up
the
till
same
4 in the
way.
morning.
I'm a
Wait,
three
wait,
o'clock.
I'm going from. You're right. It's 5 from you.
Yeah, for me. Yeah,
Oh my
it's
God. But
you have
for
to learn
people,
that too.
you don't want to be. Here's one thing I did, even though like at some point that everybody decided I was a writer instead of an artist, and they never asked me to draw again, and now I just write. But
Which do you prefer?
I actually prefer writing because I've got the patience of a squirrel.
Oh, yeah, that's a good answer.
And I can write so much faster than I draw. Even though the working digitally has helped me, I've been doing those walkies cartoons uh, digitally and going pretty fast. At least I don't feel like it's taking too long. Um, but if you got to watch it. You can't let people think of you as the last minute dude.
Yeah, I
Uh,
call that the fireman putting fires out.
that's a great way to put it. Yeah, because then they only call you for that sort of thing, and they go, "Oh, don't worry. He'll drop everything in his life, or she. I don't know. I mean, or they.
Yeah,
It's like they'll drop everything in their lives and do this, and then they'll only call you for that sort of stuff. So the one of the toughest things in freelance to do is to tell publishers I can't do that, but
yeah,
they do respect it when you just literally say no. It'll be a bad idea. I'll end up letting you down. I'm sorry, I can't do it. Please ask me again at a later point. And generally, some people get miffed, but most people are like, "That's fine. Thank you for being professional."
yeah. Um, yeah, I definitely have taken on my fair share of jobs under duress like that, and well, you get the promises. Oh man, you did us a solid.
Oh yeah, I'm going to remember you when I do thing. Goes on, never remembers me. That's
Yes, every
how
time.
I love it.
Yeah, that's the reason. That's how I came up with the whole fireman thing, putting fires out, because they were doing it to me and an inker friend of mine. Uh, that's his like that. That's primarily what he does. He does like 4 to 5 pages, of said this book or that book or this book every month. He probably gets about 20 pages a month, but he does 4 different books because he's constantly putting fires out. And finally, he was just like, no more. And I was like, that's because you're the fireman, man. You're 911.
Right.
And I know from experience, like, yeah, you can't be 911 if you wanna do books. Um,
No, you'll burn out so fast, and
yeah.
they do it to colorists the worst.
Oh, I
Um,
bet.
Colorists get a whole book dropped on them at the last minute. Can you do this over the weekend? And then
Uh,
and then they pass the paint on to a flatter. It just keeps somebody always finds someone to help share the pain.
and
And
I'm finding like almost every field is like that. Like,
yeah, there's no good field. It's not like there's some. This is capitalism in America we're talking about. It's not like, oh, if I worked in movies, they treat me right. Obviously not. But you
no,
but you get paid more.
you
Um,
do.
Maybe. This is this like all the fields do it. But we work in the arts and we work in commercial art, media, entertainment, and so anything you've heard about entertainment applies to comics.
Yeah,
Um, but it's a little less one on one, so at least there's not that aspect. Usually, you're still hanging out at your house or whatever in your basement office.
which is amazing. I will say that is a bonus,
You
especially
like
during the
that part?
the pandemic. Um,
Oh yeah, you were already ready for it.
well, yeah, I mean, my son doing school from home. well, both of my sons, it wasn't that much of a shift other than them being home, you know. Um, but yeah, only the only difference was is like I said, not seeing people anymore.
Right.
Uh, that was hard. Like I don't have a spleen, so we had to be like extra careful. Um, it was it was rough that first year, but you know we're human beings. We adapt, uh, which I did. Um, it's just I don't know. I'm so glad that that stage is kind of over for now. Uh,
Good. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. No, it's tough. I liked having my kids around,
Yes.
but at the same time, I didn't get as much work done.
No. Definitely did not. There you go.
And I know we're not any different than anybody else in the world in that respect. That except that we're on StreamYard and we can whine about it, and everybody has to listen to us talk about it
Yeah. Or
very clearly because StreamYard's got a good service here.
it does. Should we? I wish they give me a sponsorship.
Okay, if anybody is yeah, they should sponsor you, darn it, and let me pop on too.
You
Uh,
know,
anyone listening to this who has been following our campaign, editor Nate just put up the Declan Shalvey piece of Arvy, Blighter's sidekick. So actually, though, you can't show it on the Kickstarter because it doesn't show up in the little box. But if you look in Drew or my Twitter feed, you can or Declan Shalvey's, you'll see this amazing piece that he did tonight because he's just a great guy. Bless him.
did you see the Marcus Jimenez piece?
What?
Yeah, somebody
Where's
posted
that?
Marcus Jimenez. Did he says I'm obsessed with talking tiger characters ever since we put one
I
out in our
didn't say
book.
that. Did you retweet it?
No, I just saw it. I'm about to.
Retweet it, man. I want to see that. I just saw the Paul Guinan piece. I
Well,
retweeted.
he did a whole video of him doing it.
Really?
Pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. That's pretty awesome. It just amazes me. Not I guess I shouldn't say, but how enamored people are with this character. And I know we both had the whole coach thing, that worry. Rest in peace, Mike Ringo.
Oh yeah.
Like with the whole like comparison to,
Yeah. Didn't want to. Yeah. Didn't want to unconsciously. Well, I would be happy ripping off Kaj if Mike were still around, because then I could just annoy him with it, and that's the kind of thing that he would enjoy. But but then once we got into it, we're like, okay, it's not really like him at all.
Now,
Um, it's kind of well, if Kaj were a total a hole, um, instead of the really noble sweet tiger that he is.
yeah,
Well, Kaj is just Mike. The way I read that book, is the kid. But you can either read it as the kid and Kaj, or Calvin and Hobbes, or the they're Todd DeZago and Mike Faringa, and that's kind of the way I read it. It's like Mike is the big, strong, protective guy who runs in with the sword and saves you.
I could
Um,
see that. Um, I could totally see that.
but
I never
and
saw
also
it like that.
he kind of made expressions like Mike made. It's kind of funny when I read through the books. I'm like, "God, he's making such a Mike face, but no one realizes it because it's on a tiger." Um, yeah, that's why I did that whole post talking about famous tigers of fiction, talking tigers. It's like because we're trying to essentially get in that pantheon with like Koch and Mr. Tawny and Tigger and all these other and Shere Khan and all these other famous tigers. There's something I think that we all just want a tiger character uh, who babbles. Uh, I don't know why because they're gorgeous cats. I guess
They are.
they're amazing, and like those big Bengals, like they weigh like 800 pounds. It's crazy.
And the thing is, it's like
You think, wow, that thing would totally kill me.
I don't think people are as in like you would think lions, but man, I definitely feel the tiger more.
Yeah, I
Um,
don't know what it is, but I'm the same way. And the and now we know that they wear clothes well. Well, the thing I think though we've stumbled upon is that when people like drawing your character, it's a good sign.
that is a good sign.
I think it's really the number one all time success is Batman. People like drawing him,
You
and
know,
they draw him a billion different ways. But then modern times, you have like Hellboy, who everybody likes to draw.
I enjoy drawing him.
Yes, you do. I've noticed that.
Uh, I don't know how much Mr. Mignola uh, likes me. He's made a few comments here and there. They weren't mean or anything. Uh, I think he called one of mine hipster Hellboy. He called it, and then another one he said if Jim Lee drew Hellboy, and I was like, they're both all right. I'm good with those. That's fine. Uh, not insulted at all, and I don't think he meant to be insulted.
No, well, no. Oh, he could have easily been mean, been
Yeah,
meaner. No, he's probably being pretty nice there, hipster
yeah,
Hellboy.
that's what I felt like. Um, and I like to see goodness in people anyway. So if someone says something, I just go, it's either a joke or whatever. I just feel like it's uh, people are inherently good. I hope. Uh, I hope. I'm gonna put. I'm gonna do. I had. I'm gonna do a little one down here. That's too many wings. Doing too many wings.
They can't have many.
Um. So what inspired Blighter? Like, because I mean, where did this character come from? Like, have you had it for a while, or is
Yeah,
it?
the first did a kind of prototype story with Ben Dewey,
Yeah.
who does Autumn Lands with Kurt Busiek. Uh, Wait a second. Sorry, like just had to answer Nate there. We're managing the campaign as we talk. Okay, so was it 10 years ago or something? Uh, Maybe a little more. Um, Ben Dewey and I were asked to do a story for Dark Horse Presents, and like we had no time. We had like a week and almost a half, a ridiculous amount of time to do an 8-page story that we didn't even know what we were going to do yet. So I'm just immediately like, so I'm killing like half a day just thinking the concept and or whatever. And I forgot where my head was at the time that I started coming up with, and we weren't anywhere near tigers at the time. The original version, all I came up with really that I kept, then some parts of the concept and the name Blighter. And his name wasn't actually Blighter; it was something similar that people corrupted into Blighter. And then over the years, like since I did the story, I was like, no, that's too complicated. It's like just make it his name. Just like every time you make it, all these. Oh, that's a cool little character you're doing. Uh, every time you make it like some convoluted thing that people have to explain, it's like no, just give it the name. Which
Yeah, it becomes
blighter, of
too much.
course, is an old British slang uh, insult for the worst kind of person. But the nice thing is, it also sounds like someone who literally destroys things, uh, which is what he is. So I was like, God, I love the name. That's the main thing I was hooked on. Was like I still want to use that title because to me titles are hard. Like
Yeah, I think so too.
I can come up with an extremely long convoluted story much faster than I can come up with a nice simple clear title. And so anyway, like, at some point I had asked Ben, like, he's gotten too busy and like he wasn't going to do it. And I was trying to examine, I was looking back at the original story, like, okay, why didn't this catch on? Why didn't they ask us to do a series? Yeah, you guys, you got to think like that way. It's like, that this would win people over. It's a great concept. And then I'm looking at him like, oh yeah, he's kind of this ugly alien guy, which is what I was asking Ben to draw, and and everything. It's like he's already kind of unlikable, but then we made him look unlikable too. And it's like it's too much. Uh, and and the thing was, and you've heard me. I keep babbling on about Milt Kahl's drawing of Shere Khan for the Jungle
Yeah,
Book. I just love the Tude in that. It's just like I love the way he looks so regal. And he's not going around destroying it. He barely does any shows of strength through the whole movie.
but he
You
has
know,
that intimidation
he's
factor.
just intimidating, and everybody's terrified of him. And he just acts kind of cool and nonchalant about it. And I love that. And I wanted to just get something a little more like that. And then I thought, you know what? I'm just dodging the whole tiger thing. I clearly want him to be a tiger, but I want him to be this kind of regal, more like. And then you and I were going back and forth, and that's when we came upon, like, what if he had a little bit of a mustache and a beard? That would distinguish him from all the other talking tigers you ever see. And it really does. And it gives you a little kind of hard angle shape to play with at the front, which is
Yeah,
on the snout, which I like. Um, and I think, like, I sent you my more kind of cartoony sketches, and then you kind of infused it with real tiger, and then bam, nailed it.
it kind
Uh,
of came together after you sent those sketches.
yeah, and like then when you sent yours over, which was the picture we were looking at earlier in your sketchbook, like there it is, like got it, and it's so nice. Like, wow, that was actually pretty fast. Like I think we were only going back and forth a week or so.
Yeah, it wasn't
Uh,
that long, I don't think.
and that's what the concept phase can take a long time. So when it doesn't, then things are clicking. Um, so anyway, I've retooled the concept and all that. Made sure Ben was okay. And he's like, no, I got this other stuff I'm working on, blah blah blah. Oh, he's got so much going on. Which of course everybody support Ben Dewey. He's one of the best artists in comics, and he did one of my favorite comic strips on Tumblr years ago called the Tragedy Series. Uh,
Oh, nice.
it's kind of depressing, like my little walkies thing with my dog is, but it was so just over the top, and it was just I loved it. Um, I wish he would do that again. But anyway, and so Nate hooks you and me up because he's been working with you a lot at Dynamite,
Yes.
and I have done a lot of Dynamite work. And it's like, and I'm like, what's Drew? Where'd Drew come from? I don't know, like, who's Drew? And I don't know. But no, he's never steered me wrong on this. So we always like whenever he's made a team, it always works out really great. And so far, we're doing great.
I mean, I don't hate you yet. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, it's like that's all I can ask for, really.
Eh. Well, the accent. I heard your accent when we first talked. I did meet you in Raleigh years ago.
I thought so.
I was with Chris Ryle, and John Lehman. We were having pizza, and you
Oh,
were with.
there's a character. Yeah, boy, what
Yeah,
a bunch of characters.
yeah, I know the stories that they tell. Uh, so many stories. I just
They
sat and listened
all
the whole
the
time.
collectively they have been through a lot. Those dudes.
Uh, yeah, and this was when Ryle was working for Skybound.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean he's
yeah,
worked for everybody, but like I'm trying to think when.
and he was just going back to IDW, which I didn't know about, but it was like a week later. Uh, but no, I met you there, and we had the same hat because I remember you going, "Nice hat." I was like, "You too," and that was it. That's it.
Oh
Uh,
man, we're so cool wearing our same hats.
yeah, we were twinsies.
We got to do that when we do shows together.
Wear
We'll
the
just
same
gotta
hat.
just wear a little hat. Maybe we'll get a little tiger head on it or something. And so
How
like
cool would that be?
I like sewing patches.
I do too. I put them on my hats all the time.
Yeah. Can you sew?
I can. Uh,
See, I think I can sew, and then my stuff always unravels later and falls apart, and I'm like, well, I guess I'm really not that good at it.
yeah, mine doesn't fall apart, but it's a labor. It's very laborious for me.
Well, then you must be making the knot right.
My mom was a seamstress.
Oh, well, there you go. She probably had you figuring that stuff out at 7 years old.
Oh, well, the seamstress part happened when I had already left. She
Really?
was a yeah, she
Well, she
was a
must have already known how to do it.
yeah, oh yeah, definitely. She learned from my grandmother. I remember them sewing, like actually making clothes when I was a kid, like pants and shirts and stuff. They would go and get like layouts from like Kmart or something,
Yeah.
and then like actually make like jeans. Uh,
Oh,
yeah, I know. It seems crazy
well, you got
now.
to have like the heavy duty sewing machine to do uh, denim and stuff, right? No, I mean,
Yeah,
like,
my
yeah.
grandmother had one in her. She had my mother and I lived with my grandparents when I was younger till I was like 6 or 7, and she had like one of those really nice industrial um, sewing machines. Yeah, they would make shirts and all sorts of stuff. Never for me. They were
No.
always adult clothes, dresses.
You're a kid. You're growing too fast.
Yeah, and Kmart shirt was probably a couple bucks or something like that. And it also had the Hulk on it. So
Oh,
uh,
nice.
yeah, they weren't gonna make the Hulk for me, uh, or Spider Man. Which one day,
Oh,
man,
that
that's
would have been. Imagine how much they probably just saw the webbing and went, no, that's not what you're getting.
too much. I did a alternate Arby mask.
That is cool. Since now we just now tonight established that she's probably going to wear different skulls. So nailed it. I like that one. That's pretty cool.
We gotta do that
And then
creep.
at some point we got to figure out what the monster looked like when it had the skin on it.
Oh, good point. I never even thought of that.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, you know what? I'm It's always creepier in red. Oh, red eye. Um, but yeah, I think. But I have to call it a night. I gotta.
Oh yeah, it's getting late over there, man. It's like
Yeah,
it's
well,
11 o'clock.
It's not. I have to get one of those trading cards done.
Oh, jeez.
It's only. I've already penciled it. I just need to ink it.
All right.
So it'll.
You don't have to color it, do you?
No, no. That was like you said. It was one of those things where they initially thought I was, and then I had to remind them that I wasn't. They were like, "Oh yeah," so there was no problem. Like you said, it wasn't like a.
Well, good. I'm glad you slid out of that.
I am not good at coloring. Well, not that I'm not good. It just takes me too long. Um,
Hmm.
like by hand, I can do it quickly, but man, I don't know on the
Yeah, I was
computer.
going to say, like, Drew, you got all these color pieces
Oh yeah, I can do it. I
on
can do it by
Instagram. You
hand.
clearly are good at color.
I'm just no good at digital color, like getting it done quickly. Um,
Right.
I don't know what there's some nuances that I just don't get. I don't know what it is. But you give me a paintbrush or some markers, and I can get it done in a couple hours. Um,
Now, did you take any art school?
I not really. Um, I did go to school for fine art at a local college, but I was so resistant to what they were teaching. Um, and that was youth. That's not the
That's
teacher's fault.
classic artist. Yeah.
Yeah, I just like, you guys don't know what you're talking about, and
Yeah.
which they did. Uh, but you
Well,
know, I was
they always weed you out at the beginning because they give you stuff like art history and things that you're just like, no, I just want to start drawing and painting, and that's not what happens.
yeah,
So
they want to teach you technique, and you're like, no, I want to actually do it. Uh, and they're like, you will once you learn how to learn your fundamentals, and you're like, fundamentals are dumb. Uh,
yeah,
but then I learned myself, um, just by asking people questions. You know, half the time I'd ask, and people would look at me like I'm crazy because I'm at a con and I'm asking a super technical question. They're like, "This is not the place for this, man. I can't sit here all day talking about this." Uh, but I would
where
do
to
it
go?
anyway.
Yeah, how else are you going to find out? Most artists at a convention, if they're not super busy signing, are pretty good about like kind of telling you stuff like that. Because too much they get people saying, "How do I break into comics?" And no, there's no real answer to it.
No,
Uh, but if you say like, "How do I draw a hand?" and like one of the things I realized at some point was, the thing new artists or newer younger artists need to know is that everything doesn't get drawn at the same speed. Like people think like, oh, you see people they drew a hand way too fast. It's like no, it should take you like 5 times as it took you to draw the leg. And for some
there's so
reason, if
many
you
parts.
yeah, because there's a zillion moving little parts. There's all these articulation or whatever, whereas a leg was 2 bits. Um, but your brain seems to think in terms of size, so it thinks no, the hand shouldn't take that long, the face shouldn't take that long, and it's like yes, the hands and the face should take the longest. And it's a weird little thing to say to people, but it helps them when you just break it down like that. They go, oh, okay, then they know how to pace themselves a little better. See, that's a nice touch. Just put a little red on there.
Yeah, just to add some visual noise to it, you know,
Yeah.
uh, like I don't. Sometimes it would backfire on me. Like I'd ask this, you know, people would be selling like, and these are very established people. They weren't like new people. You know, some shows it's not really full of like people who are very well versed in
Mm-hmm.
the medium. So, but I would ask like pretty established people. Like I'd look at their books in front of them and be like, "This is a very interesting decision. Like, why did you make like this panel like moves the page moves from left to right, but this one panel like totally disrupts that. Like, what made you do that? Like I mean, is there a reason why you did that?" And God, oh, I remember this one person. They were like insulted so bad, and I get it, but I didn't get it at the time. I was
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't mean it like that, like that you made a mistake. I meant that like it was an interesting choice. Maybe I can learn something from what you did. Uh, and he just turned his back on me. I was like,
Oof.
oh,
You've got so many convention horror stories.
I have a lot. Well, because I have this problem with being 100% honest with people, and I'm not afraid to ask like questions like that. Uh, but no one lets me explain if that like that. I'm not trying to fight with people. I am genuinely curious, you know. Um, so, but then when people get to know me, they're like, oh, he wasn't trying to be an ass. He was
Yeah.
just curious. Um, and you know, like you were saying, like one of the best was Mike Ringo. I met him at Heroes Con,
Sure.
and he was super. I never met somebody so nice who was so established at that time. Um,
Yeah, Mike would give people plenty of time. He would, he'd sit down with tracing paper and work over stuff like a young artist book and kind of show them how something could be a little better.
yeah,
But yet he still did it being modest when he was clearly an immense talent,
yeah, he
which is
was
kind
amazing.
of a weird little balancing act. And like, wait, no,
Like, you
you're
don't know how good you are. Like,
and well, I can answer that. No, you didn't.
yeah,
is, in my opinion. Or he just didn't think of himself that way. He still always looked. He still always kind of looked at it like he's the kid reading comics, and
Yeah.
he never lost that. He always uh, and he loved just listening to artists talk about what they do and everything. Um, like it kills me that like he would love this kind of thing so much. The fact that we're just hopping on with no major setup, getting online, you're working on something and we're talking about it and everything. That's the kind of thing he wanted playing all the time while he worked. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
uh,
Technology wasn't there at the time, you know?
yeah. John Suntress started doing the word balloon interviews, and he loved that. He got to listen to some of his favorite cartoonists just talk about their craft, and that was what he wanted to hear. And I get it. I love process stuff too. Um,
Yes.
uh, so yeah, it's always eternally sad. I'm luckier than most. I got to hang out with him a ton because I was in the studio with him, and
That's
uh,
awesome.
yeah, it's like, but real fast because I know you got to get to that card. I often tell people like people would think Mike and I didn't get along if we when we go to a comic show, usually after flying together on the plane, we would split up and not do anything with each other all weekend. But it was because we knew we were going to see each other, nonstop for the next few months at the studio,
Oh, that makes sense.
and we needed something to talk about. So we would just it was like a self preservation thing. We go, okay, you go do something cool, and I'm going to go do, and then when we get back to North Carolina, we'd tell stories, just like who we were hanging out with, and just remember everything that they said, and go through and relive the things so that it's like we got two conventions out of the same one. Uh,
Smart.
yeah, but I remember people asking me like, "How come you and Mike don't like go eat together and stuff?" Like, dude, we eat together every day back at it's, it's
It's
like
like we're married, but we're not.
no, he's like we've got to bring back something to talk about.
That's awesome. Yeah, he used to message me sometimes on MySpace.
Oh yeah,
Because I tried out, he was gonna do that creator own book. He had two of them. That one that was like the Legion of Superheroes, and then there was one where the people were based on cards. It's almost like wild cards. That book, and I tried out for the one with the card. But I still have the drawing saved on my computer.
huh.
Um, I didn't get it. Another artist did, and it just never happened because Mike passed.
Yeah,
Um, but I remember him once telling me that he felt like he was drawing like he was getting better, but his stuff was boring. And I was like, "You're crazy."
he was crazy.
I was
It
like,
was
"You are
not
getting
it was
better,
not
but
remotely boring.
it wasn't. It was amazing because he was doing those lost portraits
Uh-huh.
at the time, and I was like, "Oh, no way!" Like, I'm not trying to pander to you. I mean, you are awesome, but like, no, no, like I get like little deprecation, but
Well, that
God, like you're amazing. Like,
well the thing there is that's why he was so good because he didn't think he
yeah,
was that good. It's like
yeah,
he's always kind of competing with himself and trying to reach. Who knows what he saw in his head?
yeah. And I always felt I definitely meeting that guy. I always said I wanted to be that guy, like that type of pro. Like I had so many bad experiences that he was like the shining star of them all.
Yeah,
Like
I don't
he
know
was
why
just
you kept running into all the mean people. But
I,
I remember you were telling a little story on Twitter one day, and it was like I got so depressed reading it.
with the guy who was making fun of me. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah, I only a few people know who that is. Uh, I just won't. I'm not gonna
no,
do that.
no. Obviously, we're not going to share that here.
No.
Um,
But yeah, and that was that was in maybe my second or third show I've ever been to. So it made me,
it's just such a weird thing. Well, it's an insecure thing. It's like only a really insecure person would do that sort of crap.
yeah, and like I think Jerry Ordway had commented on it. He goes, well, maybe he felt like he didn't know you, and the stuff he was talking about was more like,
Jerry thinks the best of everybody, so of course he would say that.
yeah. And I was
He's such a nice guy himself.
well, and I saw his point. I was like, yeah, maybe, yeah, but there's a nicer way to go about that.
Oh
Like
yeah,
he could have been like, hey man, we don't really know you. Do you mind? And I wouldn't have taken offense. I would have been like, okay, like I totally get it. But
yeah. He didn't have to tear you down.
yeah, well, and also like I said, it was like my third show, and I felt like, oh, I was young and young gun. Trust me, at that time of my life, I wouldn't have minded hitting the guy for sure.
Hmm.
But then I thought, like, everybody's going to be like, hey, this crazy dude just hit him, uh,
Yeah,
out of
but
nowhere.
they didn't get to hear the inciting comment.
And well, there was a bunch of other pros there who are still doing stuff now, who were laughing along with it. Um, so I don't know. They probably would have just been like, yeah, he just hit him out of nowhere. Uh, and I was like, man, that's a good way to end my career before it starts. Like, to
Oh
be
yeah.
known as the guy who punched that other guy. Yeah, so I was like, I can't do this. But you know what it did? I drove home and I was thinking, I was like, one of those moments where you're like, I'm not going to be that guy ever. And I'm going to do something. I'm going to do comics in spite of that. Um, so uh, that's the way it started out. But then eventually I just kind of got over it. It became more, I want to do comics because I want to do comics, not because I want to spite this guy.
Oh yeah.
Uh, no,
Sometimes spite's a good
it was a
motivator. Yeah.
motivator for a little bit. So, but yeah, one day when we see each other, I'll just so because you're going to be like, no way, not that guy, really.
I'm not. I'm really rarely surprised because one thing I know about people who work at home alone, their social skills leave things to be desired,
Yeah.
and
Um,
they sometimes a lot you see a lot of people and something they think they're coming off hilarious and sarcastic, and they're like, no, you're not really actually coming off good
yeah,
at
life's not
all.
a movie.
Yeah.
You know, you're not Maverick, and your friend across the way is not Goose Man. Like
Yes.
there's no laugh track. It's like, geez, these are people, man.
Yeah.
Uh, but it's a different time then too. Uh, there's no phones to document things. Be like, oh, did you see that? Um, I don't know. I feel like people are. Uh, I don't want to say more genuine, but at least they're careful.
Oh
Uh,
yeah. And it's like, yeah, you think, oh well, I wish it were more genuine, but at least they're being forced to be nicer
yes, that's exactly it.
because they know like they if they act like an ass, it goes, it gets around the world in an hour now, and that's probably keeps a lot of people in check. Hopefully.
Hopefully, um, I mean, I will tell you when I first started going to shows years and years ago, it, I'd seen some questionable things, and I've actually seen those questionable things kind of go away. Um, just like people being kind of misogynist
Oh sure.
and stuff like that. I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I'm 100% sure it probably does. Uh, but like, I mean, I've seen people slap people's asses. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like,
Right.
what are you doing? Like, where is this socially acceptable? Like, what is going on? But not anymore. It doesn't, not that I've seen anymore.
And
Um,
which I good because I was tired of getting my ass slapped.
well, I was the one slapping it,
I
so
know. It's like, thank you for stopping. That hurt. It's like, don't wear out your drawing hand. All
Yeah,
right.
I know. Well, my wife calls it the money maker. She's like, "Oh, what are you gonna go do?" No,
Yeah.
not
Well,
with the money maker. You
not
need
not
to.
yeah. Hands off.
Yeah, that thing doesn't. No.
Well,
So
there. That's a total killer monster. Uh, please send me a picture of that so I
his
can
name is Jeff.
put it in the reference file. I'll probably turn it into Joffrey or something like that.
And Joffrey the jerk.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was good talking to you.
Yeah.
Had fun. We got to do this again. Like even after the Kickstarter's done, we can work on stuff.
Yeah. Maybe
Do
we can just every couple of weeks or so do a little talk. And if people want to see how progress is happening, they can listen to us babble on about booze again. And
booze.
boats, booze,
Boats.
boats, and jerks in the late '90s.
Yeah, and
Uh,
yeah, jerks in the late '90s. Yes, uh,
there were plenty of them.
there were a lot then. There's, I don't know, probably a lot now. Yeah, I got more of those horror stories. I'll definitely share them next time.
Okay, well, yeah, we'll just make up names and put.
I will. Well, some of them I'll just say. No, I'm joking.
Yeah,
I would never.
we'll get tons of subscribers if you do that.
Yeah, I know. Maybe they'll make a hate video. I saw somebody made one of those against DC today, like DC Comics. I was like, wow. I don't even know who he is.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean.
But yeah, man, um, it was fun. I'm gonna end it here. We'll do it
All right, get
again.
that card done.
Yeah, I
We'll
know.
see you in the morning, and then we'll know what we end up with on the Kickstarter.
Awesome. And
And then we've got to make it work for 90 pages. So
yeah,
yeah,
unless we get to 34 or 35, then it's 110.
I would be surprised, but I would be happy. So yeah, I don't know. It's new to me.
Yes.
It'll be shocking and fun if so. If not, it doesn't matter. We're still going to give people a great big fat story, and
Yes.
they're going to love it. All right, Drew. Thanks for having me on.
Well, thank you for coming on. And bye, everybody.
See ya.